All right, today we're going to dig into the blueprint for digital trust, a roadmap for your identity architecture that takes us to 2026. And look, this is about a whole lot more than just passwords. We're talking about building a foundation that's so secure, it's practically unbreachable. And frankly, for any modern organization, this isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's absolutely essential.
You know, it all boils down to this one simple, fundamental question. In a world that's completely digital, how do you actually prove that you are who you say you are? Every single login, every data request, every app we launch, it all hinges on getting the answer to this question right. And let's be honest, in today's world, the consequences of getting it wrong are just too high.
And that right there is exactly why this matters so much. This quote just nails it. We have to stop thinking about identity as some technical thing that the IT department handles. It's not. It's a strategic imperative for the entire business. It's what separates an organization that's secure and agile from one that's just, well, constantly putting out fires.
So here's the journey we're about to take. First, we'll really define the modern identity problem as it stands today. Then we'll look at the solution, this architecture of trust. After that, we'll walk through a real, practical 24-month implementation plan, talk about how you measure success, and finally, we'll peek over the horizon at the future of identity.
For way too long, managing digital identity has been this tangled mess of systems, right? It creates all these nasty security gaps, it slows down the business, and honestly, it frustrates pretty much everyone involved. The mission here is to transform that headache into something completely different, a core enabler that actually helps the business move faster and safer.
So what's the destination? What are we aiming for? It's this: a single, integrated architecture of trust. The goal is one cohesive system that manages identity securely and, just as importantly, seamlessly across your entire digital world. And the core idea that holds this whole thing together is what we call the identity fabric. Just think of it like the smart connective tissue or the central nervous system for all your different identity tools. It's what lets them all talk to each other and work together as one unified, intelligent system.
And here, you can really see what we're talking about. The fabric is that central piece connecting everything. You've got how users log in, the directories where their info is stored, the tools that govern who gets access to what, and even services for managing machine identities. It's all woven together into one secure, coherent whole.
Now, if the fabric is the nervous system, then this is the brain. This is the policy decision point. It's constantly taking in signals. Who are you? Where are you? What device are you on? What are you trying to access? And it uses all that context to make a smart, real-time decision. Should you get in or not? Green light or red?
And at the end of the day, this is what all of that work is for. It's all designed to protect your most critical assets, your SaaS apps, your custom-built software, your APIs, your data. The entire architecture we've been talking about is built to wrap a powerful shield of trust around all of it.
Okay, so building something this powerful, well, it's not a weekend project, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It requires a really practical, phased journey. So let's take a look at what that 24-month roadmap actually looks like in practice.
This roadmap breaks it all down so logically. The first 6 months, that's all about your foundation, basically securing the front door with modern logins and strong multi-factor authentication. Then, months 7 to 12, you focus on governance, controlling who gets access to your most sensitive systems. After that, it's all about automation, making everything run smoothly. And finally, in the last phase, you optimize with cool stuff like AI to make the system even smarter. It's a very clear, step-by-step build.
But how do you actually know if any of this is working? How do you prove you're on the right track? Well, you need a compass, a dashboard. And that's where key performance indicators, or KPIs, come into play. They're what prove the value of what you're doing and keep the whole project focused on real-world results.
This gives us a great look at what those KPIs actually are. You can see they cover everything from security and operations to the direct impact on the business. And notice how specific these goals are. We're not talking about vague ideas here. These are hard, measurable targets that really prove the system is delivering value.
Let's just zoom in on one that's absolutely critical for security. When someone leaves the company, how fast can you shut down their access? Getting that time under 1 hour, that's not just an efficiency metric. That is a direct, massive reduction in your organization's security risk. Plain and simple.
This visual says it all, doesn't it? Having a bunch of privileged accounts just sitting there, active all the time, it's like leaving the keys to the kingdom out on the table. The goal is to slash that by 80% by moving to a just-in-time model where access is only given when it's truly needed.
That's not just an improvement, it's a total game changer for your security posture.
And you know, this goes way beyond just security. Imagine automating over 90% of all those manual, tedious identity tasks. Think about what that does. It frees up your super smart IT team from doing paperwork so they can focus on actual innovation. That is a huge win for the whole operation.
So, you finished this 24-month journey, and you're all done, right? Well, not quite. See, this architecture we've built, it's not the finish line, it's the foundation. It's what gets you ready to tackle the next wave of innovation and challenges that are coming in digital identity.
And just take a look at what's coming over the horizon. We're talking about cryptography that can stand up to quantum computers. A world where we, as users, actually control our own identity data. We have to ask, how do we make sure the AI making these decisions is ethical and fair? And what on earth does identity even look like in the metaverse?
And all of that brings us to the final, really crucial question you have to ask yourself. Is your identity architecture ready for that future? Will it be quantum-proof, decentralized, and prepared for whatever comes next? The roadmap we've just walked through is your first, most important step on that journey. And that journey really does start now.